Ma'am, I don't care what sob story you have. You're not getting a refund without a receipt. And I'm not running a charity here. The store manager's harsh words echo through the crowded electronics store as 58-year-old Patricia Williams stands at the customer service counter. Holding a broken tablet, she desperately needs fixed for her online college classes. Behind her, a line of impatient customers grows restless while she fumbles through her worn purse, her weathered hands shaking slightly. None of them notice the small folded American flag patch barely visible on the collar of her faded denim jacket. What happens next will make you question everything you think you know about respect and sacrifice. If you believe our heroes deserve better, smash that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, when was the last time you looked beyond someone's appearance to see their true story? This one will change how you see people forever. Patricia had been dreading this trip to Megatech Electronics all morning. The tablet she needed for her nursing degree coursework had stopped working 3 days ago, right in the middle of finals week. At 58, going back to school wasn't easy, but after her husband died 2 years ago, she needed a career that could support her. The problem was the receipt. She'd bought the tablet 6 months ago, but somewhere between moving to a smaller apartment and dealing with her late husband's affairs, the receipt had disappeared. Now she stood at the customer service counter of the busiest electronics store in town, hoping someone might show a little understanding. The young clerk behind the counter looked bored as Patricia explained her situation. Without a receipt, there's really nothing I can do. Store policy is store policy, but it's still under warranty, Patricia said quietly, showing him the tablet. I just need someone to look at it. It won't turn on at all, and I have finals this week. The clerk barely glanced at the device. Lady, I hear that story 10 times a day. Everyone's got some emergency. No receipt, no service. Next. The line behind Patricia was getting longer and more impatient. A businessman in an expensive suit checked his watch dramatically. A young woman with her arms full of shopping bags sighed loudly. A family with 2 small children looked increasingly frustrated. Excuse me, can you please just move along? The woman with shopping bags called out. Some of us actually have our receipts and need to get this done. Patricia felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment, but she couldn't give up. This tablet contained all her class notes, assignments, and study materials. Without it, she'd fail her finals and waste the entire semester's tuition money she could barely afford. Please, she said to the clerk, her voice getting quieter. Isn't there a manager I could speak to? I'm not trying to scam anyone. I just need help. The businessman behind her groaned audibly. This is ridiculous. Why doesn't she just buy a new one if it's so important? Because I can't afford a new one, Patricia said without turning around, her voice barely above a whisper. That's when the store manager appeared. Derek Thompson was having a bad day already. Corporate was breathing down his neck about return fraud, and his numbers were down for the quarter. He'd heard the commotion from his office and came out ready to shut it down. What's the problem here? He demanded, not even looking at Patricia. The clerk explained the situation quickly. No receipt, once warranty service holding up the line. Derek looked at Patricia for the first time, taking in her appearance, the second-hand clothes, the nervous way she clutched her purse, the desperation in her eyes. In his mind, she fit the profile of someone trying to work the system. Ma'am, I don't care what sob story you have. You're not getting a refund without a receipt, and I'm not running a charity here. The words hit Patricia like a physical blow. She wasn't asking for charity. She wasn't trying to cheat anyone. She was just a woman trying to finish school so she could build a better life. I'm not looking for charity, she said, her voice stronger now. I paid for this tablet. I just need it repaired under warranty. Derek crossed his arms. Look, lady, I've been doing this for 15 years. I know every trick in the book. You probably bought that thing used on Craigslist, and now you're trying to get us to fix it for free. The crowd behind Patricia was getting more hostile by the minute. Someone called out, just get her out of here so the rest of us can get helped. Another person muttered, probably on welfare anyway. Patricia felt tears starting to form, but she refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of all these people who had already decided what kind of person she was. Derek was warming up to his audience now. This is exactly what's wrong with customer service today. Everyone thinks they deserve special treatment. Everyone's got some emergency. Well, guess what? Your poor planning isn't our problem. The young mother with her children spoke up. Can't security just remove her? My kids are getting restless and we have places to be. That's when Derek made his mistake. He looked directly at Patricia and said loud enough for the entire store to hear, "Ma'am, you need to accept that not everyone gets to have nice things. Maybe you should stick to shopping at places more suited to your budget." The humiliation was complete. Patricia stood there, surrounded by strangers who saw her as nothing more than an inconvenience, a problem to be solved by simply making her disappear. She looked down at her hands, at the tablet that represented so much more than just a piece of technology. It represented her future, her dreams, her chance to honor her late husband's memory by building something meaningful with the rest of her life. Derek was reaching for his radio to call security when something caught his eye. As Patricia shifted her weight, her jacket moved slightly, and he saw something that made him freeze. There on her collar was a small American flag patch. But not just any flag. It was folded in the precise military triangle, the kind given to families at military funerals. Beneath it, barely visible, was a small gold star pin. Derek's attitude changed instantly, but it was too late. Patricia had seen the recognition in his eyes, and she knew exactly what he was looking at. "You see it now," she said quietly, her voice carrying a strength that silenced the entire crowd. "That flag was draped over my son's coffin when they brought him home from Iraq. He was 23 years old. That gold star means I'm a gold star mother. I lost my child in service to this country." The silence in the store was absolute. The businessman, who had been checking his watch, looked down at his shoes. The young mother pulled her children closer, suddenly understanding the weight of her earlier words. Patricia continued, her voice steady but filled with pain. "I'm not trying to cheat anyone. I'm not looking for handouts. I'm a 58-year-old widow, trying to become a nurse so I can help people. This tablet has all my schoolwork on it. I saved for 6 months to buy it, working 2 part-time jobs. All I wanted was for someone to help me fix it so I could honor my son's sacrifice by making something of my life." Derek felt sick to his stomach. Every assumption he'd made, every cruel word he'd spoken came crashing back on him. This wasn't some scammer trying to work the system. This was a gold star mother, a woman who had given the ultimate sacrifice for her country and was still fighting to rebuild her life. "Ma'am," he started, but Patricia held up her hand. "No," she said firmly. "You've said enough. You decided who I was the moment you looked at me. You saw my clothes, heard my voice, and wrote me off as someone not worth helping. You turned me into entertainment for your customers, a problem to be disposed of." The crowd that had been so eager to see her removed now looked ashamed. Several people had tears in their eyes. The businessman quietly left the line and walked away. The young mother was openly crying. Patricia picked up her broken tablet and turned to leave, but Derek couldn't let her go like this. "Please," he said, his voice breaking, "let me make this right. We'll fix your tablet, no charge. We'll upgrade your warranty. Whatever you need." Patricia stopped and turned back to him. "Why now?" she asked. "Why does that flag change everything? I was the same person 5 minutes ago. I had the same problem, the same need for help. The only thing that's changed is now you know my son died for this country." Derek had no answer. None of them did. Patricia walked out of the store that day with her broken tablet still in her hands. But something else walked out with her, the dignity that no one could take away, no matter how they treated her. 2 hours later, Derek closed the store early. He spent the rest of the afternoon researching Gold Star mothers, learning about the sacrifices these women had made. He thought about Patricia's son, a young man he would never meet but whose mother he had humiliated in front of a crowd the next morning. Derek was waiting outside Patricia's apartment building with a brand new tablet, already set up and loaded with all the software she needed for nursing school. He also brought something else, a handwritten letter of apology, and a promise that Megatech Electronics would now offer a special support program for Gold Star families. Patricia accepted his apology with grace, but she never forgot the lesson that day taught everyone who witnessed it. Respect isn't something you earn by revealing your tragedy. It's something every human being deserves simply by walking through the door. The folded flag still sits on Patricia's collar, not as a shield against judgment, but as a reminder that heroes come in all forms. And sometimes the greatest heroism is simply continuing to hope for kindness in a world that doesn't always offer it.